Hey all you cool cats and kittens, welcome to another day of distant learning here at the Haas Small Cat Rescue. We have a few. Here we are, day 10. 2 videos, 2 exercises. 4 questions each, 1 quiz. It's 5 questions, and then 1 test. It's 9 questions. It's about an hour of work. You got 5 days to do it. I believe in you. But here we go. Tip 1, get your bases to be the same. The stuff you're gonna have with solving them, you need the bases to be the same because of this. If you have something like a to the x minus n is equal to a to the z plus p, if the bases are the same, you can then tell me that these exponents must be the same. So I can then just set it up as x minus n equals z plus p. It's linear at this point. It's a bunch of letters. It doesn't make sense. I'd have to tell you what to solve it for, but you're gonna have numbers. Get your bases to be the same. The most common ones you're gonna see are gonna deal with your bases when they are 2, 3, 4, or 5. So knowing these numbers are all from a base of 2 given to different exponents will be helpful. Knowing that these numbers all have a base of 3 or can be rewritten with a base 3 and a different exponent. Knowing that we can rewrite these with a base 4, these with a base 5. Usually in the problems, one of these will be one of the bases, and that'll be your hint. Oh hey, I bet I can rewrite 32 as 2 to the 5th power, and then this 2 to the x plus something can become 2 to the 5th, and I can solve because my bases are the same. So your exponents must be equal. Solve linear equation. So keep it simple, use the bases you know, keep your friends close. Another little thing to remember if you're given a fraction and you see one of those numbers that came up earlier, 1 over 64, well, I can write that as 1 over 4 to the 3rd. But if in my rest of the equation I have a base of 4 in the other terms, 1 over 4 to the 3rd power, negative exponent rules, I can make that 4 to the negative 3rd. Then, if I have something 4 to the x plus 1, I can now set my exponents equal to each other. So this becomes a linear equation to solve for that unknown, the x. So fractions don't mean I'm out. Fractions mean I got to do a little more work. Exponent rules still coming in. Review them, know them, we're going to use them. Here's what I have. So here's what I've been saying. Look at your bases. They're not the same. I want them to be the same. They're going to be the same with a little maneuvering. We're going to have to manipulate this 1 over 32. So go back in time and say, okay, 2. I don't see a 3, 4, 5. I see a 2. And oh, I do see a 32. It's just the fact that I see it. It's 1 over 32. So that means I'm going to need to rewrite that. So this stays 2 to the 5x plus 8. And I know I can rewrite 32 as 1 over 2 to the 5th. And if I don't know that, I just told you that. And you go back to the notes that we just gave earlier and say, okay, so I can rewrite 32 as a base 2 to the 5th power. Well, the next thing I need to do is I need this not to be 1 over 2, I need it to be 2. So still nothing changes here. 2 to the 5x plus 8 is now equal to, well, if I reciprocate this, that's my negative exponent. Now it's 2 to the negative 5th power, and this whole thing is still to the 3rd power. The only thing I have to be careful now is I need to multiply these. Power to a power, we multiply. So this becomes 2 to the 5x plus 8 equals 2 to the negative 15. The goal here is get bases the same. They are. There's nothing else there. At this point, I need to take my exponents and I'm going to set them equal. 5x plus 8 equals a negative 15, I solve for x. Subtract 8 from both sides. So what, 5x equals, negative 23. Divide both sides by 5 to get x all by itself. So x equals a negative 23 over 5. Reason I put the slash here, when you're putting this in Khan Academy, if you get an answer like this, you can't simplify this any further, leave it as an improper fraction. Again, leave as an improper fraction. And so use the slash, put negative 23 slash 5. That's your answer. If I can simplify that, simplify. I had to do a couple over a few times. I didn't simplify, I was getting lazy. Make sure you simplify if they're both even or both divisible by 3 or by 4, whatever. They can be simplified, they should be, but you don't need to write as a mixed number. You can leave it as improper fraction. So your tips, first one, get your bases the same. Do what you gotta do. Secondly, use your exponent rules. Negative exponent rule, if you're multiplying or dividing, no, you're adding or subtracting those exponents. And your polar rule, you're multiplying. You may have to distribute if you're multiplying an exponent to another exponent that is two term. So don't forget that, and don't forget to distribute negatives if you're subtracting. And third, set your exponents equal once those bases are the same and solve. So you just want one base on one side, one base on the other side, left to right, whatever you want to call them. But you should have one on each side. They should be the same. Those exponents then can be set equal to one another, and just solve for x, whatever you got to do. Okay, so you have your notes, you have your task, you'll have 5 days.
You'll have 5 days.
You'll have 5 days.
You will come out better on the other end of this. These aren't as bad as the two from Wednesday, but they are tricky. They take some work. Be careful, watch your signs, because on the test and in the quiz, things will come back to haunt you that you've already seen so far this week. Everything is now brought together and it's a whole test on our rational exponents. Now we're solving. So check those signs. Improper fractions are best. And when it says evaluate, that's to find the value. You should have just a value, a number, a numerical answer at the end. There should be no radical signs or variables. So take care. Have a great weekend. And I'll be on Zoom for sure at 11. Not sure about the 3 o'clock tomorrow, but for sure at 11 this Friday. And then I'll be back Monday with more.